Hello, I'm Jo Channon and I am a freelance demonstrator for Hochanda, and today I'd like to show you a project using one of the All and Create stamps. It's a nice quick project using a couple of different techniques, so hope that you're going to enjoy this. Right, so first of all, this is the stamp that we are actually going to be using. It's one of our lovely Tracy Evans designs and it's Flower Moments. So it's number 233 from All and Create. A lovely shape stamp as well, so we can do lots with it. So that's the stamp, and this is the actual project that we're going to be doing. Now I'm going to do it slightly different today because I've done a circle in the middle with the jelly plate, but this time what I thought I might do is just do an elongated area with the red, just to show you the differences between the two. Okay, so we'll get started. So what we need to do first is to actually bring in the jelly plate. So this is a 6x6 jelly plate. So you can get them in different sizes, of course. I'm sure lots of you are fully aware of them, but if you're not, there's lots of the demonstrators here at Hochanda do use it quite a lot, and especially Abs from All and Create. Okay, so what we need is your brayer. I'm also using distress ink, and that's the Candied Apple. I've also got fired brick with me because that is another choice if you haven't got the Candied Apple, or just a red. Okay, so we'll just use the brayer to apply some ink, and then we'll take the ink and just apply it onto the jelly plate. Okay. And a little bit more just to add a little bit more depth. So you can see here what I've got is the elongated inking effect, which will look quite nice with this particular stamp. There we go. So pop that on there, and then what we'll do is we'll place the piece of white that I'm going to do my main feature stamping, and I'll pop that down like so. Move that so I don't put my hand in it. Just give this a really, really good solid rub down. Just burnish it with your hands. If you do struggle with your hands at times, take your brayer and brayer it over. That's not a problem at all. Okay, and then have a little look at this to see if it's transferred really well, and it has. Look at that. That's smashing. So what I love about the jelly plate is you get this fantastic texture coming through, but also you get these really lovely haphazard outlines, because I think this stamp really lends itself to that. So pop the jelly plate away because we're finished with that now. And the brayer. Bring in the stamp. So I've got the All and Create stamp on my All and Create plate. These are really useful. You will find them on the Hochanda website. They're nice and flexible, although they are still quite strong. So they're excellent for stamping with. So we're going to stamp the entire stamp onto here. There we go. I'm using a Versafine ink pad, but you use whatever ink pad that you're happy with. It needs to be a a sort of semi-permanent or permanent stamp, really, just to give it that bold finish. I do like Versafine, or Versafine Clair is really good. It gives you lots of nice detail. Pop that straight through the middle, like so, and then just press, making sure that you have got all that fantastic detail on. Now, of course, you could use a stamp press if you feel more comfortable with that. That's more than acceptable. I have one myself, and it's really useful. Now, with the stamp plates, this is what you can do. So you can just encourage it with extra pressure if you need to. Personally, I don't think we need it on this stamp, but it does give you a really good idea if you do feel as if it needs a little bit more pressure in the middle. Okay, so we'll just take that off there. And there you can see that really is quite lovely. It's got so much detail in, grid work, the flowers obviously with the stalks, and we've got some really nice sentiment there as well. So what I've also done is I've gone ahead and actually stamped up just this flower head here, just on some white card. Okay, and then I'm going to bring in water-based pen, and I'm just going to very basically just colour these in. Okay, you can use whatever pens that you want. If you've got watercolour pencils, that would be really lovely. Obviously you've got spritz and sprays, use those as well, which would be super. But anything that will give you a nice bold red colour. Of course, what you could also do is take your distress ink that you've been using on the jelly plate and use that as well. There we go, just colouring that in. I'm not being too fussy. If you want to just give a little bit more detail where the stamp actually shows there is some shading, just to give it a little bit more there, so it just darkens that lovely flower image off a little bit. Okay, like so. We'll pop that on in a second, but before we do that, I would like to add another bit of detail. So this is one of the 13 Arts rainbow colours, and what we need to do is we need to just pop a little bit of spray, just plain water, nothing fancy, just in the corners there. And then basically what these are, they are a dye-based watercolour powder, and what happens is, and you'll see, it's just wonderful effects. They do them in so many different colours. You can also use these for watercolouring, and you can see when you actually pop the powder onto the spray that you've already popped down, you've got that fantastic way that it just pops. The colour just brings it out really well. If you need to just add a little bit more water, which I do just here and just there we go, just add a little bit extra just to give that bit more colour. And then what we need to do, we need to just dry this. Okay, so it won't take many minutes. Just take the surplus away. There we go. Bear with me just a couple of minutes while I just dry this. And whilst it's drying, you will see that it does really mix well into the card. It settles itself when the heat is applied. You can leave this to dry naturally if you wish. That's not a problem. It will dry really lovely without a heat tool. This heat tool that I'm using actually is the Wow, and it's a really useful one because it's a 2-speed one, so that enables you to use it for different techniques as well. I'm just going to dab a tiny bit of that off here and there, so it doesn't take too long. There we go, to actually dry. You can see it gives that really beautiful finish around, and the eye really travels around that main image. Super, I love using these. I also really enjoy using them as a watercolour, and all you need to do basically is to just take some of the powder, pop it onto your glass mat or a tile, bit of acetate, a little bit of water, and it makes a fantastic watercolour. So really versatile, which is always good for crafting, because I like to have products that we can use for lots of different things. So I'm just going to turn this over just to give it a quick dry from underneath as well. And that also brings the card back into shape if you've added water onto it, because sometimes even the best of quality of card can slightly buckle under some water, but by heating it from the back, there we go, that actually pops back into place. that's smashing. Now the thing to point out is you never ever get two the same with using the colours, actually, as you will see, because of course it all comes out slightly differently each time. So the other thing that we're going to do is to go around that area with a fine line pen, just to make the main focus pop even more. So just nothing fancy, there we go, just a little bit of detail, a little bit of scribbling, a little bit of doodling just around the edges, just to bring that theme in. And of course that's going on in the stamp as well, so it doesn't look totally out of character. Then what we'll do is we'll pop our flower on. And now I'm just going to actually place it on top. Now, let's have a look. I'm using my trusted That's Crafty glue, as always. Well, she will if she can get the top to work. Just bear with me 1 second. Okay, it's actually quite a new one. There we go. So just pop in a little bit in there like so. And then if we place the flower, just giving that little bit of a shape over the top, we just place the flower over where the stamp was. And then you've got that three-dimensional image there, which is super. And then what we need to do now is we need a sentiment. So on the stamp itself, you can see we've got this piece here which is called Moments. And well, it says Moments. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to ink up. I've got a lot of bits and pieces here. I don't need all these. There we go. That one's going to fit nicely, and then we can mat and layer it up with some white and black. So we'll use this one. So if I just ink up in the area that I need, but instead of taking the actual stamp to the piece of card, I'm just going to take the piece of card and place it on top. There we go. And hopefully, yes, there we go. So we've got that lovely image there, which we will then pop onto our black. There we go. There we are, got a little mat of black card around, and also a little bit of white. Now if you would like to, you can see I'm just gluing these flat onto them, but if you would like to pop them onto some foam, then of course do by all means. Yeah, just keeping that, so that will raise it up that little bit more. I feel that it's quite high enough on there at the moment, with there being 3 mats, but that's, again, it's absolutely your choice. So now what we're going to do is we've got a base for our card. We've got some red, which will make the red really stand out from on the actual card design. Pop that on there like so. So we're looking at a DL size card here. We've got a black mat as well. So I want to just pop on. There we are. That will make it really pop by putting the black on. And then I'm going to just take, before we do anything else with this, a little bit of black soot. That's the distress ink. Just go around the edges. Just nice and gently round, nothing too much. There we go, then that just takes away a little bit of that white space if you don't want it. Of course, if you want to add more, please do. If you want to add red, that will be lovely as well. So just bend that into position and pop our glue onto the back, or double-sided, whatever you prefer to use, and then you will see the mat with the black just comes through nicely. Now the one other thing I haven't brought it with me, I do apologise, but what I want to do is I want to just show you just one other item that you could add here, and that's a little bit of this. It's just cord, or just you could put a little bit of cotton or whatever just around here. Okay, just to add that little bit of detail if you wish. I do want to add some red onto the actual sentiment itself. So just taking the ink pad directly to, if you're comfortable with that. If not, then do put it onto your glass mat and take it up from there. I quite like the way that that shows a really nice distress look on there, because it does add quite nicely to the whole distress feel of the image as well. A little bit of glue, and then if we just hover over where it does actually say moments, we can then pop that, so the stalk, can you see the stalk continuing through there? Just place that on there. I'll just take a little bit of paper to press that down because that ink is still wet. There we go, and pop that on there like so, and there we are, a nice quick card idea using the All and Create stamp from Tracy called Flower Moments. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this demonstration. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've got some inspiration. Pop onto the Hochanda website where you will see all of these fantastic products for you to use.